We now come to the fascinating topic of probable electorates or likely electorates. You've learned a lot about sampling, went through the steps of a traditional phone survey in terms of sampling and fielding the survey, but who do political pollsters really care about? Who do campaign managers really care about? Who do candidates really care about? We're all good people, we care about everybody, but you care about the attitudes of voters. If you're trying to figure out what to say, if you're trying to figure out where you stand, if you're trying to figure out what people's media habits are, you care about that for people who are likely to vote in the relevant election that you are running in. So a lot of the art for pollsters and a lot of the art in survey research is figuring out exactly who is likely to vote and talking to or weighting the data to those people who are going to be the most likely voters. So you hear that. You hear a couple different terms, likely voters, probable voters, but this is definitely something you're going to want to understand and definitely something that you're going to want to talk to your pollster about in terms of asking them what are their assumptions about the size of the electorate, what are their assumptions about the shape of the electorate, and how are they going about deciding what that's going to be. Just as a quick example, we can think about a number of different populations. So you could have a voting age population, so that's anyone over 18. You could have people who are registered voters, or even people who say they are registered voters. Then you have people who actually are registered voters. You have people who say they're going to vote, and then you have people who are actually going to vote. And when you look at those numbers at a national level, it might be the case that about 95% of the population over the age of 18 is eligible to register to vote. About 85% of people will say they are registered. In reality, about 75% of people are registered. In a typical presidential election year, about 70% of people will say they are going to vote, and in reality, between 50 and 55% of people will actually vote. So, if I'm trying to understand what's going on in an election, I want to talk to those 55%, or I want to talk to a sample from that 55%, because if the 40 percentage points of people who are eligible to vote, or the 15 percentage points more of people, 70%, who say they're going to vote but don't actually vote, have different attitudes or preferences than the 55% who are actually going to vote, you could certainly have a bias.